especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Boxing insiders are calling out Canelo Alvarez for alleged steroid use ahead of his upcoming clash with Terence Crawford, pointing to his sudden muscle growth and history of failed PED tests. David Benavidez has also entered the conversation, questioning why Canelo continues to avoid fighting him if he's as confident as he claims. Benavidez further alleged that 5 members of Canelo's team have tested positive for banned substances, suggesting the entire camp, including Canelo himself, is tainted, intensifying the controversy surrounding the highly anticipated bout.
Greatest Mexican boxing fights of all time, you know, in my opinion. Yeah. So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never got off.
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course. Sure. How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya.
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Yeah.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, what do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about? He's like, are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight? In his head, Eddie Reynoso was like, fuck no, we not fighting him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You think you kidding me?
The first step, you know? when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit. But it's always a prize, bro. It's always, if I go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of money.
And I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point. Now like, how much you giving me?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to Morel.
Eddie Reynoso's gym is facing intense scrutiny amid accusations that he personally provides fighters in his camp with performance-enhancing drugs. This includes Canelo Alvarez, who trains under Reynoso and has already faced steroid allegations twice in the past. Critics note that multiple fighters from the same gym have tested positive for banned substances, fueling suspicion about the training environment. Now, as Canelo readies himself for his showdown with Terence Crawford, many are questioning how he's been able to pack on muscle at such a rapid pace.
Addressed serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not going to get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not, if by 55 years old, I'm not, the only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
Observers point out that putting on substantial muscle naturally in your 30s is notoriously difficult. Yet Canelo's physique now appears noticeably larger than in the past. This dramatic transformation has only intensified speculation, especially given the history surrounding Reynoso's camp. With that context, fans and analysts are openly questioning whether Canelo's gains are the result of natural training, or if PEDs are once again quietly influencing the outcome of major fights.
If for a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's recent comments about Canelo Alvarez have ignited serious debate in the boxing community. As a veteran voice in combat sports and physical performance, Rogan noted how unusual it is for someone in their 30s to pack on muscle at such a rapid rate, especially when natural growth typically slows with age. Yet Canelo appears to be defying that biological reality. For Rogan, this isn't just suspicion, it's science. He argued that such a dramatic transformation is nearly impossible to achieve naturally, and when someone with his expertise and influence voices those doubts, the boxing world takes notice.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
As the Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford showdown approaches, whispers of steroid use are growing louder among fans and analysts. Many admit they wouldn't be surprised if Canelo were using performance-enhancing substances. Their reasoning is straightforward. He has access to world-class facilities, top-tier nutritionists, elite doctors, and cutting-edge recovery tools. With unlimited resources and a strong incentive to remain at the top, critics argue the temptation to take shortcuts is hard to ignore. They believe the environment surrounding Canelo provides every opportunity to use banned substances without facing immediate consequences.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
Floyd Mayweather has never been shy about speaking his mind, especially when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. He's openly raised the issue of steroids in the past, claiming that too many people are afraid to address it. According to Mayweather, boxing operates with a double standard. Some fighters face heavy scrutiny, while others get a free pass. In his view, Canelo sits firmly in that protected category. Mayweather argues that promoters, broadcasters, and even fans avoid questioning Canelo because of his star power and marketability. But Floyd isn't one to stay quiet, stressing that steroid use isn't just cheating, it's dangerous and undermines the integrity of the sport.
But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
In the lead-up to Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford, the steroid chatter hasn't just come from analysts. Fans from both sides are trading PED accusations non-stop. Crawford's supporters question Canelo's sudden size and power, while Canelo's camp casts doubt on Crawford's endurance and his performance at a higher weight. The back and forth has gotten so heated that both fighters agreed to undergo extensive PED testing before the fight. These tests aren't only to satisfy regulators, they are meant to reassure the public. The fact that both camps felt compelled to prove their clean status speaks volumes about the current level of mistrust in boxing. Passionate fans want action, but they also demand transparency, and the non-stop PED talk has forced both teams to address it head-on.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random VADA testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now, it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been consistent